Yeah, afternoon, everyone, guys, girls. Doing a little story. Well, I say a story, it's mainly about memories, and there is a story as well. Uh, the story's from, I think it was when I was 12, but I could have been 13, I can't remember, so that's like 40 years ago, 82 or 83. I do remember I was doing amateur boxing. Uh, for Rosehill in Carshalton. I was at that club, and I was getting up to mischief as well. But before that, I just want to go back a bit, to the 1970s, to my childhood, so I want to share a few memories from then. One of my favourite times of the year was Christmas, when I was a little kid, 7 or 8 or whatever, and during the 70s and 80s, every year we used to go to what we'd be going up the lane, and that would either be East Lane, which is actually East Street, East Street Market. In I was lived in Gordon Road, up by Carshalton Beaches train station, and we was all, at that age, getting up to mischief and that, you know. But one time my mate Andy told me that he'd gone round to see Jamie, and they were all out, and he see that the door or the window was open, so he'd gone in there, and you know them big glass bottles full of change and that, and took a little bit of change out of the glass bottle. And I thought this was quite amusing, you know. I thought it was quite funny, being the sort of naughty little kid I was. So, but this is what sowed the seed of what I'm talking about, you know. So yeah. So basically, yeah, my mate Jamie, who I was just talking about, lived in Gordon Road. His mum and dad were separated, divorced, and he used to spend his weekends in Milton Keynes. Yeah, and I used to go up there with him and stay the weekend and that, you know. And back then, I think it's 82, 83, Milton Keynes was still like a building site and that, you know. And yeah, we used to have a bit of fun up there, you know, getting into a little bit of mischief, me and Jamie and that. But you know, when you're kids, you're always arguing and falling out and stuff like that, you know. And I just want to say now, Jamie, I have seen him since all this happened, and you know, we're not friends or anything, but we have spoken about it, and I have apologised for what I'm going to tell you. But yeah, so of course, because I used to go up to Milton Keynes with him at weekends, I knew, you know, his movement sort of thing, and when he would be in and when he would be out. So sadly, this one time, he was away at Milton Keynes at his dad's house, and his mum had gone away or something on holiday. He told me this, you know, but he did have an older sister and a boyfriend who were sort of like about in their 20s or something, you know. So it's still quite a risky job. So basically, what happened, you know, and this is quite bad because, like I say, Jamie was my friend from school, and what it was, you know, where I heard before that Andy, my little mate Andy from down near Bedington Park there, he'd been in the house when they were all out and stolen a little bit of change out of the spare change bottle, you know. So I've got my friend staying with me, or I'm meeting him. I think he was staying over with me one night on a Saturday night, but and we were with each other in the day. My little mate Jakesy, little Graham, and we used to do a little bit of sparring together and that, you know, back in the day, because I had all sparring gloves and that. We'd go down Westcroft and spar together and all that. But like I say, he was always getting up to mischief, and between the pair of us, but actually it was my idea. I sowed the seed to him. I said, yeah. So we didn't have any money. I said, why don't we do what Andy did and go into Jamie's and any money in that bottle just to take a few quid out of there, you know, in 50p pieces and 10p pieces. You know, it's a long time ago. I don't think 20p's weren't out then, you know, so, and yeah. So that was the idea, you know. So we knew he was away at Milton Keynes, and the mum was away. The only risk of it was the sister might turn up, you know, with the boyfriend. You know, so basically what we did, we went round there. We didn't knock on the door because we knew they was out. And we went round the back way, and there was like, in his back garden, there was a house next to it, you know, and there's a little alleyway at the back of his garden that leads to the back of all these row of houses and that. And basically what we did, we'd gone in there, this little alleyway, and the gate was unlocked to the alleyway, and gone to his back fence, you know, to climb over the fence and get into his garden. But as we was doing that, me and little Graham, I noticed there was a woman in the next door neighbour's house doing her washing up, you know, looking out the kitchen window into the garden. But, you know, I noticed this as we was going in, but unbeknown to me, you know, I crouched down, but unbeknown to me, she saw Graham go in there, and sort of she recognised him, or she'd seen him before as being one of the neighbours' friends and all that sort of stuff. So, I'm just going to, hold on a minute, guys. Sorry, guys, I've been doing this YouTubing for months, and I've only just realised that I can pause the video while I'm doing it. So yeah, 10 minutes in, and yeah, as I was saying, we was going into Jamie's house, you know, and then when. But probably not. The other guy, Andy, who told us about this, had probably made it up and probably never been in there because there wasn't any bottle full of change in there. So basically, we had a look around the house, and you know, we we knew they was away, but there was a chance the sister and her boyfriend, who was a bit of a lump, would come back. So you know, he was trying to be quick, and that. We didn't find any cash, but when I was in the main bedroom, the mum's bedroom, you know, there's a jewellery box, you know, the tomfoolery, the jewellery in a box there, you know, and it was quite a nice bit of gold there, you know. I'd say in today's money there was quite a bit there. It would probably be like, you know, like over £10,000 worth, maybe even more than that. You know, I don't know the gold prices, but there was quite a bit. You know, all these chunky belcher chains, rope chains, all that sort of stuff, sovereign rings, you know. There was a lot of gold there, you know. So basically, I've opened the box and took all the tom out, took all the gold out, you know, and any other decent looking jewellery. And remember, I'm only 12 years old, you know, so I was a right little shit, basically, wasn't I? So yeah, basically, we took that, and basically, yeah, we've gone out the front door and gone, you know, and we took the gold to our little camp. We had a little, you know, it was like this little concrete railway hut on between the stations, Carshalton Beaches and Sutton Station. There was like this derelict railway hut, and we used to climb over the railway bridge near the Warren Park, go down the embankment, walk along the railway, which was dangerous in itself, to this little deserted hut, you know, an old signalman's hut. And we went in there. I said, right, we'll stash all this gold up here and we'll come back for it when we decide what we're going to do with it. So basically, this is the Saturday afternoon. So we've done that little bit of work, and then we've gone back to my parents' house because he's like, you know, he's my friend and he's staying over the night. And then we've got a plan of what we're going to do with the gold. We decided the next day, which is the Sunday, which is my And we got that, and then we went to the newsagents, got our Red Bus Rovers, and then basically got a bus to Croydon, and then got a bus to London, you know, and then we've gone to Petticoat Lane in East London. Now, the reason we went there, like I said earlier, I used to go up there a lot with my parents, you know, to get our, we get our Christmas clothes there and all that sort of stuff, leather jackets, sheepskins, you know. So, but I'd noticed there's all sorts of stalls there, you know, because I was up there a lot with my parents, you know, since I could remember. So basically, you know, I knew there was a jewellery stall there, you know, and so basically we've got there, and I found this jewellery stall that I had noticed before, you know. Used to have a lot of them, you know. It weren't like Spanish gold this guy was selling, it was proper stuff, you know, all ramped up, all marked up, the gold that he sold. And basically I had this parcel of gold on me, and I had Graham with me, and I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I just thought to myself, God, we must have looked so young, you know. These were old guys, middle-aged guys. And I approached him and said, hello mate, would you be interested in buying this gold off us? And showed him the parcel of gold. Yeah, and he had a look at it and said, yeah, well, I'll take that off you, he said. But looking back, he did basically rip us off, you know, because like I say, in today's money, there was well over £10,000 worth there. And he gave us some money for some, he gave us 80 quid for it. You know, and basically he gave us 80 quid for about it must have been worth about at least 4,000 quid back then, that gold. Maybe a bit less. And he didn't weigh it or anything like that, you know. He just give us 80 quid and went, go on then, fuck off, you know. So we took the 80 quid and then we went, you know. But you got to remember, this is like 1982, 83 or whatever, 40 years ago. So 80 quid to two 12-year-olds, you know, it was a decent bit of money then, you know. 80 quid then is probably about 800 quid now, you know. So I suppose he did sort us out, but I still thought it was worth a lot more than that, which it probably was. But I'll get to that bit. So yeah, basically we got this money. I can't even remember what we were spending it on, or if we did spend it, you know. Spent the rest of the day up the West End and all that, you know. And I've got to tell you, I mean, I was 12 or 13, and this is before I've been using, this is before I was using drugs, you know. Like I say, I had been still was boxing and all that sort of stuff. So, and I think Graham used to do a little bit of training as well. He used to do a little bit of sparring with me. I think he did mention he used to go to that Youth Centre 21 club for boxing lessons, which was near Rosehill. As Rosehill Boxing Club used to be in the old community hall opposite the KFC in Rosehill. But yeah, back to the story. So yeah, so basically we've got this money and that, and then we've come back to Carshalton, and he's gone home to his parents, and I'm indoors and thought no more of it, you know. But what happened then was, I think it was the next day, you know, or later on that Sunday evening, Jamie's family had come back to their house, you know, come back from Milton Keynes, and realised that they'd been robbed and that, you know. But like I said earlier, when we was going into the property, I did say I thought the neighbour had clocked us, had seen us going in the back alleyway to break into the property. She didn't see us break in, but she see us going in the little back alleyway and possibly over the fence. And she knew Graham's face because, like I say, he was like best friends with Jamie, and he used to be round there every day and all that sort of stuff. So she recognised him, and obviously she's mentioned this to the mum, you know, and obviously she's really upset that she's been robbed and all that. But then she's put two and two together, you know. But also, what I didn't mention earlier, Graham, when I'd given him a boost and, you know, get a lift up through the little kitchen window, you know, those little square windows at the top, and he's climbed in there and got into put his foot on the sideboard and jumped in the kitchen. He's left a footprint there, you know, of these distinctive trainers that he had, these little Adidas or Nikes or whatever, you know. And of course we'd run through the garden, we'd gone through the garden, so he had some mud on his shoe and he's left his footprint. And obviously, like an idiot, I didn't notice that at the time because he's gone in, you know, the kitchen and come round into the living room and let me in through the back door, you know. And basically gone straight up to, had a look in the living room, gone straight up to the bedroom and had the tom box. But yeah, he's left a footprint there. So basically, you know, they know what trainers he wears, you know, from that footprint anyway. The neighbour's seen Graham before. So basically, I don't know about whether the police were phoned, but as far as I know, she phoned Graham's, the mum, Jamie's mum phoned Graham's parents about it. Luckily for us, that the old bill weren't, the police weren't phoned, you know. So, yeah, my parents get a phone call from Graham's parents, and it's like my mum's distraught and dad, you know, all this shit I brought on them and that, you know. And my family, you know, they've always been good to me and supportive and that, always come visit me when I've been in prison for many, many years, you know, always been there for me. So, you know, I was a bit, you know, I got a good telling off and that. So basically, yeah, they went out. They got this phone call from Graham's parents, and then they arranged to go and meet Graham's parents because they didn't know each other. And then they was to go round to Jamie's mum's house, the one we burgled, and talk about what had happened, yeah. And at this stage, I was just indoors, sort of, you know, probably shitting myself for my dad, you know, because I've done this wrong thing, you know, and all that. So basically, they've gone round there, and I don't know what was said, but I do know they'd gone round there, worked something out between them, and basically, I don't know, but my dad sorted it out, and the police weren't phoned. And then what happened after that, you know, because it market day the next weekend on the Saturday, on the Sunday, it could have been the Saturday. I know my dad, he went back up to, he went to Petticoat Lane to the store because I told him where I sold it. And he got the gold back, he got the jewellery back from the stall when me and Jakesy had sold it. I don't know how much he had to pay for it, but, you know, that was a good thing he done, you know. And then obviously he got the gold back and give it back, all back to Jamie's mum, you know, and no police were involved, you know. So yeah, we was very lucky really, because if the police were involved, we'd obviously, you know, possibly gone to Borstal or something, you know. I know Borstal finished in 1982, or we would have gone to YP, you know, or something like that, you know. But like I say, yeah. So yeah, I was a right little shit, you know, and that was the sort of thing I was getting up to at the age of 12, sadly, you know. So like I say, this is before I was heavily into heroin and all that, you know. I didn't start doing them sort of drugs like heroin until I was 15, which is still very young. But then when I did become addicted, you know, and I was living that sort of life, obviously, you know, and I ended up going in and out of prison and all that, you know, it wasn't a problem for me to get money, so, you know, because, you know, from the age of 12 I've been doing stuff like that, you know. So, you know, anyway, yeah, so basically that's the story, just this quick story there about childhood memories and that, you know. And I hope everyone's all well and good, you know. And I just want to say thanks to everyone that's been watching my channel and supporting my channel. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. And hopefully I'll do another video soon. You know, this is the first video I've done for about a week. Like I say, I haven't been getting a lot of views, you know, so hopefully this will be a good video and all that. And yeah, so have a good weekend, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks a lot.